everybody, welcome to the broadcast. If you're new to the channel, my name's Todd. It is May 23rd, Thursday. We're almost to the end of the week. We've had about 3 days of sunshine, and that's going to come to an end in about 2.5 hours. I've got quite a bit to do before the rain moves in, so we better get to it. We have finally made it to the other side of the creek on this project. I think I've decided we're going to call this the Brush Creek Project because that's a nearby road that's easily identifiable. One thing on the list to do, I want to stack that brush up. I've left it laid out so the sun can get to it and dry it out as quickly as possible. But with the rain coming, I want to pile it up, and that way it'll shed the water off and be ready to burn very, very soon. Another thing I want to do right there is get the burn pit dug, and we've got to dig it deep enough for the ashes from that, but also we've got to dig it big enough for any grubbings that came from that side, which is that pile. And once we get across this creek, we're going to have a whole lot of brush and grubbings coming out from a road that we're cutting. To get to the other side, which is the first thing on our priority list, is get these two 2-foot diameter culvert pipes put in down here in this creek. The original location for these pipes was a no-go, which is this trench right here. The reason it's a no-go is because of several springs that are popping out of this bank. What I did was went ahead and dug this trench in, and I'm not seeing any evidence of springs up through there. I proposed to the customer that we move the location of the pipes up this way. It's going to work for them. That looks like a reasonable creek bottom from all the cobble and sandy stuff. I just want to check, make sure it's fairly firm in the areas that I'm going to backfill and that the pipe might be sitting on top of. And you can see that's pretty firm stuff. Oh yeah. Yep. We're good there. Now, let's get a little more fuel on this rig. There's a few little roots in here, but this is mainly an ATV trail, so it doesn't have to be like built like a state highway. I'm just going to stop this trickle of water here. And hopefully, well, I know I can get this filled back in before all that water backs up. I'm just going to make a little pond here. Got the water flow stopped, and even though that's just a little trickle, that's enough to soak into this stuff. I just don't want any water flowing through this stuff before I can get it compacted. Oh, and see, like stuff like that I will pick out as I go. I'm going to start at the uphill side and work my way downhill. That way it squishes water out of the ground as I compact. It's a wet bucket load, isn't it? I got it filled in to a point where I'm happy with it. Now I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna line this I'm gonna line the end of this track up with that stick. Spin around. Let's see. Yep. I'm just gonna line this end of this track by lifting and twisting. That way I know the other end of my track doesn't move. I'm going to track straight toward my other stick, and that gives me a track line to follow for digging the trench in for the pipe. If I'm going off course a little bit, it's okay. So it's not going to require perfection. Okay, let's check that track line. Yeah, just got a little bit off. Run it again. Run it again. Good. Perfect. reason that I like having a swing boom on something. I can swing this way, but then swing the boom and line it up with that track, and it gives me a really good viewpoint for digging in ditches and stuff. Yep. I get started here. These double wall pipes, even though it's a 24-inch inside diameter, they are actually about 26 inches on the outside diameter. Usually when I dig a trench for a 2-foot pipe, I'll go up to this first pin here. Let's see how that does. Yep. This right here will put me at 36 inches. So about a foot of cover. And by the time I ramp the road across it, it's gonna be plenty of depth. Well, I got my tape measure handy. I wanna measure these, that looks like. Yeah, we'll call it 3/4. Here's an opportunity for you guys to learn something. Once I track forward a little bit, just like this, to dig more ditch, what I will do is reach out just above my trench here, and let's just exaggerate it. I'll move that boom, okay? Now if I pull the right stick straight toward me to pull that in, see how it's headed toward that wall? I need to swing this way. And I'll just come down along the top edge usually. I'll pull it toward me. See how it's getting ready to dig into that wall? I'm gonna swing a little more. Reach out above the trench where I've already dug and just pull it toward me. Still headed that way. Move that way. Adjust. Pull. There's that. That's how I line up my ditch line to keep it going fairly straight. And then I'll go down, set my cutting edge, and then just kind of pull everything toward me. Now this just takes practice, but I'm watching that pin that I was talking about, and I'm keeping it at the same level that the roots are coming out of the bank. Y'all may not have noticed that, but all those roots coming from that locust right to my left are at the same level. So I'm just going to keep that pin at that same level. And that's how I'm going to put this ditch in. It is quite effective. I'm going to admit something. There's got to be a dinosaur rotting under there, because that is one of the worst smelling stagnant bogs right there. It's really not that muddy, but man, that stinks. There's a corpse in here, I'm sure of it. Golly. Now my sweet wife, if she smelled that, she'd be gone. She'd be out of here. Woo, that's rough. That's rough. Now I've gotten to where I can't go out far enough to pull a straight ditch. If this was like going under a road and it was going to be immediately used, I would have jumped across the ditch up there and dug the ditch back that way, but I'm not too concerned about it. We're down to the last 5 feet or so. I didn't put on my digging bucket. It's a tilt hydraulic type of bucket if you're new to the channel. If you're going to be doing much of this kind of work, you want one of these where you can have a hydraulic tilt grading bucket and a hydraulic thumb that you can use them both at the same time. Next, I'm going to inspect these and see which one has the roundest bell. Now you can see how I had this pipe. It's sitting up off the ground. That bell end is going to be more round. Whereas you can see this end is sitting down flat. It's put a flat spot. And since it's been hot, there's a good chance it'll keep that flat spot. Therefore, This one is going to be the inflow side, and that way it's easier for this one to slide onto the end of this one. The next step is actually not putting that pipe in. The next step for me actually is to go ahead and, like say, the entrance to my pipe is actually going to be there. Let's just go ahead and rough this in. Oh, she's a gusher. Well, at least we'll get to see how good a fall we've got on the ditch, won't we? Let's go ahead and rough this one in. Next up, I just take this ditch that I originally made, and I'm just going to pull it back in for now. For now, that's what I'm going to do. Get that water running a little bit straighter into my ditch. Again, this is temporary. I'll really fine tune it once the pipes are in. Pipe lube. This looks like it got a little rainwater in it. Use all you want. You do not want to roll that rubber gasket. Trust me. This stuff is getting a little bit cantankerous today. And when I bring that other pipe down, I'll lube all around in the bell end too. Ooh, getting hot today. Nice. Like it. I like it. Good position. I'm gonna go ahead and knock a little dirt in. Just a little, help snug that pipe up. Let's see how I did. Get as close as I can. Drop him in. Not too bad. Some may say that's an awful lineup. They'd be right. But there is that hump there from where I dug that out. I'm just going to lift up on that end of the pipe, and by lifting that, this is going to angle down and should pop right on. Doesn't want to. It's definitely not wanting to. A little higher. It's going to be stubborn. I'm going to have to dig that out a little bit. Man, I didn't get it on video, but I got part of it here. Got started. Let's see if I can bump it on in. don't like that. I'm gonna pull it back off, try again. Huh. Something's still hanging that pipe. All thing to do now is get my bucket and just lift up on that a little bit, and hopefully that dirt falls down under that pipe, giving me a little bit of lift. Suffice it to say, I ain't planned for it to go this way, but this is good because now you guys are going to see how I fix this when it doesn't go as planned. Now I've got to be real easy when I pull up on this, because if I mess it up, that is a problem. I cannot crush the end of that pipe at all. First thing I need to do is move this pipe without messing up that bell. So everything's got to be real ginger and easy. There's that. Now, I've just got to lift up on this pipe just ever so gently. If I screw this up, folks, it's gonna turn into a major problem. I don't think that was quite enough. I think that was good. See how that looks. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. I do want to point out one thing. I knew we're not planning on putting another pipe on here, so I was pushing a little bit harder than I normally would. And you can see that I screwed up that end. If we ever did want to put a pipe on here, it's no longer easy. I would have to cut that off and either use just a regular coupler or one of the poly seals. We definitely got that end lifted up without damaging it. I should be able to slide this on now. Took the end of that pipe with my bucket, and I'm just going to drag it along. And I'm just tracking forward, that's all I'm doing. Now, put my bucket flat against that end. It's acting like it's wanting to inch on there. Let's see. I'm happy with that. I had a little bit of dirt fall in right there. Push that forward pipe that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab dirt from that side and pull the pipe back, but I'm also going to put dirt on this side of this pipe, and as it compacts, they'll straighten out. I believe we're going to have to chalk this one up to a day of how Todd messes up, but then corrects it. Now I'm going to start by pulling dirt onto this side of the pipe, because if I start at that end and start just pushing dirt in, it could separate those two. So since I've got dirt holding that end down, I'm going to come down here and work my way back, and it'll squish that pipe on into place. I'm going to go real slow so that dirt falls in. See how it's kind of having a chance to fall down behind that pipe. I'm the only person that I've seen do this, but I have seen people do similar things. It's slow and time consuming, but it's a good way to get dirt up and under the pipe. Now if I'd done this under a road, I probably would have used this 4-foot digging bucket. It's a foot wider than, or I'm sorry, this 4-foot grading bucket. That would have given me more wiggle room on each side of the pipe. Now let's speed it up a little. I'm just slowly getting dirt on that side of the pipe. Cool. of dirt holding that in place. Go up and get the skid steer here in a minute. I just want to make sure I got this thing locked into place before I start running around on it and twisting and all that good stuff. Those clouds are really rolling in. Let's check weather bug. See what the radar said. Oh yeah. I don't know. Looks like the bulk of it passed us up. I don't know if y'all can see that, but looks like most of it's gone just north. Yeah, I don't think the weather bug's right. I think in an hour or two it's gonna come a heavy storm. We'll just have to see. Now bear in mind, while I take my little break here, the way I'm doing this is an ATV trail. This is not a main highway, it's not a big road. I'm backfilling with semi-wet material to speed things up and keep it affordable for my customer. Make it more affordable. You guys who have been with me for a long time have seen me do this way different, and you've seen me be a lot more picky. And this is just another reason that I'm doing the day-to-day. So number one, you guys will see all my mistakes, and that's not necessarily mistakes, but how things don't go as planned and how to navigate around it. That's really important. And the biggest thing is you don't see me get worked up. You don't see me get mad. You don't see me start throwing things. Just take it in stride and work through it. Let's get this thing covered up. Like I said, I'm just going to start back here. This stuff is actually dried out really well. I missed a little stump there. So I'll leave that a little bit high on that edge, and when I drive across it, it'll help mash that dirt down beside the pipe. Start kind of ramping my way up toward the other bank in preparation for cutting that road. I bet an outside view would be better for y'all. Let me rig that up. Yep, definitely gonna rain. So I'm just gonna pull a couple of quick slopes out of here. Just kind of don't have too steep of sides right at my pipe's outflow. Just really wanting to get this roughed in at least and get everything slicked up for all this rain that's coming. I can always fine tune it later. Kind of hop down here in the creek to get this one just right. We'll get it slicked up. A little bit farther down. Want to make sure that water will flow out good. Unimpeded, that way that pipe can't ever back up. So if that water flow stops, so does sediment. And when sediment stops, it collects. That'll do. Now if I can get out of here without getting stuck. tell y'all what, this one put up just a little bit of a fight. That's my own fault. I just didn't get those ends lined up too good, but I got it put together. It's got fall on it. I just got through going back and just taking the bucket with the excavator all over this area, getting everything slicked up. It's about the consistency of Play-Doh right now. Kind of hard to get it real nice, but we got it. Water is flowing into the pipe. That flow's actually picked up quite a bit. I guess that little bit of rain that blew through is already working its way down here. Let's see how the outflow side's looking. Again, I just kind of slicked this up and tried to reestablish it and make it look like something. A little bit squidgy. Let me get something to clean the end of that out. This'll do. It does not take much of a little dam to really back some water up. Actually, that's a pretty good little dam there. Got it opened up. It's flowing now. Guess I got everything slicked up, looking good. I like this. I believe I'm gonna go right up through there with the road. We gotta go straight toward a fence, curve, and I think we're going right up the ridge line with it. I think I'm gonna call it a day on this part to give this area time to dry up, develop a really good crust. Next thing on the list will be digging out the burn pit and collecting a whole lot of good clay to cap all that off with.